I'm Ron Strickland. This webcast is one of a series in which I'm presenting some brief lectures and commentaries on topics from the courses I teach in literature and cultural studies. This particular installment is on Book 4 of John Milton's Paradise Lost. In an earlier webcast, I commented on Satan's entry into the Garden of Eden at the beginning of Book 4. Here I'll focus on the conversation between Adam and Eve's description of her first moments of consciousness. Beginning at line 411, we overhear their morning conversation. First, Adam speaks to Eve. Sole partner and sole part of all these joys, dearer thyself than all, needs must the power that made us, and for us this ample world, be infinitely good, and of this good as liberal and free as infinite, that raised us from the dust and placed us here. And all this happiness who at his hand have nothing merited, nor can perform aught whereof he hath need, he who requires from us no other service than to keep this one, this easy charge, of all the trees in paradise that bear delicious fruit, so various, not to taste, that only tree of knowledge, planted by the tree of life, so near grows death to life, whatever death is. Some dreadful thing, no doubt, for well thou knowest God hath pronounced it death to taste that tree. The only sign of our obedience left among so many signs of power and rule conferred upon us, and dominion given over all other creatures that possess earth, air, and sea. Notice that Adam is giving Eve instructions here, telling her what her duty will be. Now let's hear what Eve has to say. Eve replies to Adam, O thou, for whom and from whom I was formed, flesh of thy flesh, and without whom and to no end, my guide and head, what thou hast said is just and right, for we to him indeed all praises owe, and daily thanks. I chiefly who enjoy so far the happier lot, enjoying thee preeminent by so much odds, while thou, like consort to thyself, canst nowhere find. That day I oft remember, when from sleep I first awaked, and found myself reposed under a shade on flowers, much wondering where and what I was, whence thither brought, and how. Not distant far from thence a murmuring sound of waters issued from a cave and spread into a liquid plain, then stood unmoved, pure as the expanse of heaven. I thither went with unexperienced thought, and laid me down on the green bank to look into the clear, smooth lake, that to me seemed another sky. As I bent down to look, just opposite, a shape within the watery gleam appeared, bending to look on me. I started back. It started back, but pleased I soon returned. Pleased, it returned as soon with answering looks of sympathy and love. There I had fixed mine eyes till now, and pined with vain desire, had not a voice thus warned me. What there thou seest, fair creature, is thyself. With thee it came and goes. But follow me, now I will bring thee where no shadow stays thy coming and thy soft embraces. He, whose image thou art, him thou shalt enjoy, inseparably thine. To him shalt bear multitudes like thyself, and thence be called mother of human race. What could I do but follow straight, invisibly thus led, till I espied thee, fair indeed and tall under a platan, yet methought less fair, less winning soft, less amiably mild than that smooth watery image. Back I turned. Thou, following, criedst aloud, Return, fair Eve, whom fliest thou? Whom thou fliest, of him thou art, his flesh, his bone. To give thee being I lent out of my side to thee, nearest my heart, substantial life. To have thee by my side henceforth an individual solace, dear. Part of my soul I seek thee, and thee claim my other half. With that, thy gentle hand seized mine. I yielded, and from that time see how beauty is excelled by manly grace and wisdom, which alone is truly fair. So she yields gently but coyly. If she just said, okay, take me, that would not be so much fun for Adam. So Milton imagines that she'll play a little bit hard to get. You may notice that in this account of Eve's awakening, Milton is invoking the ancient Greek myth of Narcissus. As the story is told in Ovid's Metamorphoses, Narcissus was a beautiful young man. One day he's walking in the woods and a nymph, Echo, sees him and falls in love with him. But Narcissus rejects her affections. Nemesis, the goddess of revenge, sees this and she vows revenge against Narcissus. She lures him to a pool of water where he falls in love with his own reflection. There he pines in unfulfillable desire until he wastes away and is transformed into the flower that we call Narcissus. Of course, the term is still used to refer to someone who has too much self-regard, too little capacity for empathizing with others. The obvious implication here is that Eve should focus her affections toward Adam and not be trapped in a narcissistic appreciation of her own beauty. So, back to the poem. Eve sees her reflection in the pool and she is transfixed by the image. Viewing the image, she's entranced by the image of herself in the pool. Suddenly she hears a voice. One may think it's Adam's voice, but if you read closely, it doesn't seem to be Adam's voice. It may be the voice of an angel, it may be the voice of God, because the voice says, Eve, come away from there, fair creature. What you see there is not what you are made for. You're not made for yourself. Follow me, and I will bring thee to whom you are meant for. So she follows the voice, and it leads her to Adam. She sees Adam, and on first glance, he looks strong and handsome, appealing. Then he grabs her, he seizes her arm, and she feels his arm, and it's rough and hairy, and doesn't seem as beautiful as what she was looking at in the pool. And momentarily, she feels rejection for Adam, I would say, for the heterosexual role that she is destined to play in this patriarchal order, and tries to pull away. Adam says, part of my soul I seek thee, and thee claim my other half. With that, thy gentle hand seized mine, I yielded, and from that time, see how beauty is excelled by manly grace and wisdom, which alone is truly fair. Manly grace and wisdom is the true beauty, not female charms, female grace, attractiveness. Well, that's Milton's view anyway. But it might be encoded deeply into the gender roles that we have inherited or we learn in a patriarchal society, where it's not enough to demarcate two different sexes, but one sex must be subordinated to the other. And then, as if that's not enough, the subordinated sex is even more attractive if the female enacts a desire to be owned by male or a desire to identify with the masculine. So it gets pretty deep, and I'm kind of deep into some psychoanalytic territory here, and it's all open for debate and for discussion. Anything else? Anyone see something here that I've left out? With that, I'll conclude this webcast. But, as always, if you have questions or comments, send me an email.